guys, I don't think he's going to have anything good to say. What's up, my dude?
Just one game. Just one game. I would like the entire Canucks lineup to finish the game. Just once. Like every game someone leaves hurt. It's just like, come on. Oh boy. And like if we didn't have bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. And like in that third period of all the penalties to call, they call that slash in the last minute. Like all the picks they were throwing, like I counted about 4 interference penalties in that third period that they didn't call on New York. And yeah, I mean, Garland's a tough guy to lose, right? Him and Pettersson just starting to find some chemistry and cook together, and away he goes with another injury. Oh boy. I don't even know what to say, right?
Well, I
Like
mean, we
really
talk
it's
about the
just
interference.
it's a 1-0 game on a bad play by Evander Kane. Jonathan Quick again just has the Canucks number. Our offensive guys didn't get enough shots on net. Pettersson with 1, DeBrusk with 1. Lucas Reichel just has that snake bitten right now, but that kid looks poised to break through. He had a heck of a game. Some really good looks there. I think 4 shots on net. Just couldn't beat Jonathan Quick tonight. And yeah, that's a tough one. They battled hard to stay in it as long as they did. It's unfortunate to lose Garland for the third period. And yeah, they just couldn't get anything done. They couldn't get it through to the net there.
Well, you mentioned all the interference calls that could have been called, and then we look back and Carlson getting the exact same interference call that didn't get called, right? So, and then that's the other problem. Obviously, you're not going to get the same consistency in referee every game, but when you're looking at it and you look at the game tape, Carlson got a penalty for doing exactly what the Rangers did 17 times tonight, but the referees just like, tonight we're not going to call it. We'll just let the boys play. And it's like, that's the kind of thing that we need to fix. And I'm scared of AI, but I think it's time to hand refereeing over to the AI and just let them do the job, because these refs are clearly losing the pace because this NHL is faster than it's ever been. And it shows because these referees have not been able to keep up with the pace. And I think it really shows.
Well, yeah, I watched a lot of hockey from 3 p.m. on, like even before the Canucks game, and the officiating issue is becoming a league-wide thing. The younger they get, the worse it seems to become, and a lot of them are they end up making the game about themselves. And unfortunately, there is a rule book. Not unfortunately, fortunately, there is a rule book. Unfortunately, every ref has their own interpretation of that rule book. And the inconsistency is what starts to drive me a little bit crazy. And you got to think, with the increase of sports betting around the sport of hockey, that would need to be dealt with at some point. Because we saw it earlier in the month with a game in Edmonton between Edmonton and Montreal. A horrible boarding penalty called that wasn't a penalty. And, the refs even admitting it and then calling a tripping penalty when McDavid clearly dove, and not calling the dive on McDavid, and then calling an unsportsmanlike penalty on a frustrated Canadiens player who tapped his stick at the refs and kind of showboated a bit, but, justified frustration given how terrible the officiating has been. And you can't blame some of these players for not knowing what to do on any given night and how to play, because you don't know which official is going to just decide not to call certain things that night. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple that they let go on Kane too. I mean, at the end there, and when we were 6-on-5, Kane with a stupid penalty almost took a interference penalty in front of the net, which they should have called, and they missed that. So, it's not just the ones they're missing on us. We talk about the ones they miss on the Canucks because this is a Canucks show. So, but this is a league-wide issue. And that's what frustrates the heck out of me. I'm not frustrated as a Canucks fan. Like, yes, there's some. It seems to feel like we get the majority of the bad calls because all we watch are Canucks games for a lot of the fans out there in chat, and the majority of the hockey I watch is Canucks hockey. But when you watch, I play fantasy hockey, so I watch more of my players play around the league, and it's a league-wide issue. It's bad, man. And sooner or later these guys need to start answering for some of these calls because the calls are changing the outcome of the game. And when that happens, I need them to sit down and have a post-game presser just like all the players have to. Sometimes they lose a really close emotional game and then first thing they have is a microphone and a camera shoved in their face. Well, if there's a questionable call and penalty and we deserve answers as fans and as, the payers basically of their paycheck by, any subscription we buy to the NHL to watch or any ticket we buy to go to the stadiums, any way we support the league, we pay for the referees. And so we deserve some sort of accountability or answer when there's a buildup of questionable calls happening around the sport that we all love.
Eric Hunter donating $2 to say, hit the like and subscribe. We appreciate the $2 dono. And he follows that up with a gifted membership that goes out to Juliana. What am I doing here? No, there's the button.
We're
now
doing
you guys
a
can
show,
see
a post-game show.
Juliana, congratulations. Got a free gift membership courtesy of Eric Hunter. Thank you very much, Eric Hunter, for the donation. We appreciate all your support on the channel. We wouldn't be able to do it without you, my dude. German Canucks fan is out here blaming Tim Peel. But let's try and find some positives because we can't harp on the refs too much because, as we said, it was bad both ways. So more than anything, we want to mention that there was some crap going both ways that changed the direction of this game. Vilander, let's go back to him. Ends up playing 12:37 in the game, which is pretty much exactly what we thought was going to end up happening. Was still being paired with DPD out there. Did that scare you a little bit, or were you fine with it as the game went on?
I was okay with it as the game went on. DPD's really solidified himself as an NHL defenseman. Held my breath a little bit as he slid into Demko there and knocked him into the net because obviously we've had the injury bug happen, and sure enough, it happened to Garland instead of Demko. But no, DPD is really looking good out there, and Vilander, like I said, he's a very skilled defenseman. I don't doubt that he's going to have a long NHL career. He just needed to catch up a little bit to the pro level, and he's been doing that very well in Abbotsford. Like, I'm not surprised that he was called up. We didn't think it would happen as quickly as it did. Obviously, injuries are a factor, but I think he held well out there tonight. And he obviously did well enough to impress the coaches to be out there on the 6-on-5 trying to press the offense. So that tells you that he did all the right things that they asked of him tonight. And everything I saw him do tonight, no real mistakes, used his feet well, tried to get the puck to the net, tried to get it out of his own end quickly when he had it on his stick. And that's all you can really ask of a guy getting thrown into his first NHL game before, I'm sure he personally thinks he's ready. You need to have that attitude, but yeah, a little sooner than we thought. And I was impressed with his first game for sure.
That's good. Yeah. Everyone is calling him a very confident young man, which means he's a bit cocky, but I'm okay with that because if you can back it up, you can be pretty much as cocky as you want. Face-off
Well, I
wise,
think he's a very mature young man too. Like just to expand on it a little, like not yesterday, on Sunday, the Abbey Canucks had their skate with the team after their game. So families, when you buy tickets, you can bring your skates, leave them in your car. After the game, you go out, grab your skates, and you skate around with the Abbotsford Canucks. And there were some clips of Vilander mic'd up chatting with families, and the kid just is very mature and well spoken, and I'm sure he's very coachable. And that's evident given the growth we've already seen after a few games in Abbotsford. And he did have to play some heavy minutes the last couple of games they had. So, or the last game that he played. And yeah, I'm looking forward to his development for sure. I never once said I didn't like what I saw from Vilander. I just didn't think he was ready for the NHL. And being thrust into it, I think he did well. We'll see how the injuries go. Obviously, uh, he might get to play again the first game of the road trip, but hopefully we have some reinforcements on the way so he can go back to Abbotsford and play some bigger minutes, because I think the big minutes are helping him develop a little quicker.
Mhm.
Obviously, up here he's going to spend more time on the bench, and that's not as beneficial to his game right now.
So face-off wise, I was impressed again with EP40 ending up with 57.9%. I did also want to bring up though, despite the good percentage there, again, this is very, very small. Let me make that a bit bigger for you. So EP40 faced JT Miller 4 times, only managed to beat him once, which was in the offensive zone. Lost both draws to JT Miller in the defensive zones. Against Cooley, was 0 for 1. So only had to face Cooley once. But between JT Miller and Cooley, those are kind of their very good face-off guys. So against these really strong face-off guys, I think PD's still struggling a bit. But against the so-so guys, he's starting to dominate there. So at least that's a start. So I would call that as a positive for the Canucks so far in the last couple games, I would say at least.
Absolutely. And the boys did start to look tired in the third period. So, I'm just saying one thing that you might want to add to your learning or lessons learned is not bag skating your boys on game day.
Now, what was that?
I don't know. I think that was just like this is how we end our practices, but yeah, I don't know if that's like trying to get the boys going or what, but skating the lines on game day just seems like a recipe for disaster, given that you're running a condensed schedule and the guys are tired as it is. Um, Seemed like an odd choice to me. And it looked like it started to show for a couple of the guys. And I mean, maybe it showed the whole game. They just looked a bit tired, a little step behind, and nothing was really crisp and clean tonight. Like no real good passes or good plays that the team just didn't look super dangerous. And it just looked like New York was fresher. And yeah, to only lose realistically 1-0 and then have the empty netter go in. Um, yeah, it's just one that you kind of got to chalk it up to they tried their best and failed tonight, and you got to move on and look on to the road trip here and see who's going to be healthy.
Yeah, I was just playing the clip underneath you there for a second of the Canucks King bag skate. Pretty ridiculous. Eric Hunter not done with the donos apparently. $10 dono saying share with Dusty.
An absolute beauty.
Yeah, Eric Hunter. We gotta get a jersey in the rafters for you. We'll put it right up beside the Calder Cup banner, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the Abbotsford Canucks or the Toronto Blue Jays?
We can talk about the Abbotsford Canucks if you like.
Sure, if we really must.
Well, I mean, might as well end on a good note, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just do the reveal right there for everyone. Just popped it up on the screen for you. Calgary versus Abbotsford. Abbotsford ends up losing 3-0. And I think a big part of that probably ends up being the fact that with all the injuries and all the call-ups, right now, the Abbotsford Canucks number one defenseman is Sawyer Mineo.
I
Let
mean,
that
you
sink
you
in.
said it right there, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, even looking at the forward lineup, it's an uphill battle. Um, they 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 tried their butts off in this game for sure, though. Through the first two periods, They were really pushing the majority of the play. They outshot Calgary 21-14, I think, through 2 periods. Ty Young was really holding them in as best he could. And then third period, just some defensive miscues. One was just the Jan Kuznetsov, just a big boy, just out and muscled Jimmy Schultz at the front of the net to get one by Ty Young. And then a bad holding penalty for Schultz, who's playing more minutes probably than he's used to ever playing. He is older, but is kind of like a longtime AHL guy, and normally not playing top line minutes. Yeah, just a good play on the power play, more defensive issues. Like these guys were wide open on these goals. Ty Young had no chance tonight. Um, and it's just a product of they had to sign an ECHL guy to PTO this morning because they need defensemen in the lineup because all the defensemen are up with Abbotsford. And now, I mean, Garland's out. Who knows what's going to happen with him, if he's going to be ready to go on the road trip or if he's going to be out for a couple games. Oh man. So no help coming soon for the Abbotsford Canucks, and they just struggle on offense, right? Like the majority of their offensive players have graduated. Other ones have been hurt and are looking to find their stride and are being pushed into roles that they're not used to playing either. So it's a steep learning curve for the Abbotsford Canucks this year, given all of the players they've had to replace, not only with just naturally through the Calder Cup final and having a big turnover of players now with all the injuries. So there's lots of call-ups to Vancouver now, and they've had to make some call-ups from Kalamazoo. And I mean, the cupboard's getting pretty dang bare, man. Like we could use a little bit of a reprieve here and get some healthy guys back in the lineup soon. I, I I don't know what we did to the sports gods, but we're sorry.
I have 2 questions about the Abby Canucks. We'll start with, where the hell is Christian Wolanin and why have they not signed him? He's the leading assist getter in franchise history as a defenseman, and you haven't signed him? I know he's like 30 or 31, but why in this situation are you going to the PTOs on all these random ECHLers instead of signing a guy who is not signed anywhere? Is he injured? Like, have you heard anything about Christian Wolanin? Because I can't find anything.
I don't know. Maybe he won his Calder Cup and really didn't train in the summer. Who knows? Maybe he just decided that was it for him and he didn't want to push anymore for the NHL thing, right? Like, as old as he is, he won a championship. Looking at it, does he want to come back and play for that team that is just going to maybe finish last, right? Like, I'm just trying to look at it from his side of things, right? Like, maybe that's why they have to go to Kalamazoo, right? Like, maybe they've called Christian Wolanin. Maybe they've called him and he said, "No, thanks, I'm good." like we don't know. I'm sure Ryan Johnson is trying his butt off to try and find some reinforcements, but there's only so many roster spots, right? Like, just because guys are on the day-to-day IR, like those guys still take up a roster spot until you move them to LTIR. But then when you move guys to LTIR, you have to have a certain number of games that you miss before you can come back. So it just becomes a big mess. And I would like us to get healthy. That's all. That's it. We just need to get healthy and not get hurt anymore. And whatever we need to do to make the sports gods happy, we will do it. I'll dance naked in the rain and sacrifice a chicken. I don't know. Like, what do we have to do to like just have good things happen for the Vancouver Canucks?
I was literally
man.
I was chatting at work today with one of my old hockey teammates. And I was like, I got called out to a game and you show up and there's like 5 guys on the bench. You're like, I should have said no to this. That's Christian Wolanin. He's getting the call out to beer league. And he's like, how many guys do you have? Because I'm not coming if I'm going to be playing half the game.
Right. Do we have a goalie? Is there a goalie?
That's always the first question. The other question, the last question I have for the Abby Canucks, because I don't want to sit on the game too much because of the tough situation they're in. But I saw in the penalty minutes, Alex Gallant got a 5-minute major foot fighting, a 10-minute for aggressor, 2 minutes for instigating, 10-minute for unsportsmanlike conduct. What the heck happened there?
So Chase Wouters plays aggressively, right? And went in to make a check on a player who kind of lost his balance. So the check was a bit in the numbers, but Wouters did try and hold up, and it was more the fall that affected the Wranglers player. But Gallant didn't see it that way in the speed of the game and went straight at Wouters, and Wouters didn't even fight back. He just went down. He was getting a boarding penalty, a 2-minute boarding penalty. Like, there was a penalty being called, but Gallant, I think there's some history there from last year still, as well. So between Gallant and Wouters, and he went right at Wouters, didn't even give Wouters a chance to drop the gloves. And so he ends up with the game misconduct for the instigator there. And yeah, the Canucks had a 5-minute power play on that one, but were unable to generate a goal. And just, I mean, right now it's just lack of talent. Like, they're trying their butts off. They're playing Manny's structure as best they can, but they just can't. They just don't have any supernatural goal scorers down there right now to bury the puck. They don't have a Lekermaki with a laser shot. Klimovich is more of a power play merchant. He's not so much effective 5-on-5. He is using his body more, which is good. Playing two-way hockey, but just not enough from him. And like I said, from the beginning of the year, he looked a bit disinterested, like he feels he should be getting a shot up in the NHL, but didn't because of this kind of middling attitude, I guess you could call it. And if he would just show a bit more drive to be not an elite player, but just a standout player, I think he would get a look more often. But it's just unfortunate because he does have a wicked shot. He just doesn't have that extra gear that we see some of our other young prospects have.
Before we hop over and talk about the Blue Jays, I just wanted to get your prediction for the 3 stars of the Vancouver Canucks versus the New York Rangers, because once again, it is Shorty who's the best in the biz at calling the 3 stars. So what do you think in the 3 stars of the game were today?
Usually in a 1-0 game. We're gonna call it a 1-0 game because the other one was a empty netter. You usually go with both goalies. So Jonathan Quick, shutout. You always got to give a shutout number 1 star, in my opinion. It's a very difficult thing to do in the NHL. And so Jonathan Quick had a great game tonight. Thatcher Demko had a great game as well, right behind him. Only letting 1 goal get past him, and there were a couple of good opportunities for New York tonight. And then I guess, I mean, in a game like this, you give it the game-winning goal. So Mika Zibanejad as a 3rd star, right?
Nailed it.
You got to go with logical plays on a 1-0 game. So
yeah, exactly. All right, let's end on a high note then, and talk about the Toronto Blue Jays. First off, did you watch the entire 18 innings last night? I'll ask you that.
So I watched the top of the 18th and then fell asleep. I'm not even kidding you. I watched the Blue Jays bat in the 18th and I was like, oh man, this is going to go on forever. Close my eyes, and I should have just stayed watching to see Freeman hit the home run. But you know what? I got the update in the morning, and that's why there's 7 games. And, they had to play again tonight. So I knew that game wasn't going to decide the series, but you love to stay up and watch that sort of sports history and that sort of thing. And I will say this much: Brad Paisley can never again sing a World Series national anthem, because twice now he has sung the national anthem in the World Series, and both games went to 18 innings. So no more, Brad. No more.
So yeah, like you said, they played again tonight. Blue Jays bats seem to be feeling a little better today than they were yesterday. And as you can see on the screen with our scoreboard, the Blue Jays do win it 6-2. Were you able to watch some of it, or what were your thoughts on the game?
I did watch some of it. I did see Vladdy's bomb monster home run that he hit off of the unbelievable Shohei Ohtani. And then yeah, just more Blue Jay stuff, right? Getting singles and getting batting all through the lineup. Addison Barger has just been unreal in these playoffs for the Blue Jays. And guys stepping up with others being injured. Springer is out, hurt something in his looked like an ab or an oblique or something yesterday while he was at bat. That guy just can't seem to catch a break. Every pitcher wants to throw inside to him to establish the inside, and he's took one off the kneecap in the previous series. So hopefully he can get back in. But one thing about tonight and them being able to secure the 6-2 victory is it guarantees this series going back to Toronto for at least game 6. So very exciting news for the fans in Toronto that they will at least get one more game in front of them. And we'll have to keep a close eye on them tomorrow. I believe they go game 5. And
No rest for the weary.
if they can, go Blue Jays. If they can pull it off tomorrow and go back to Toronto with a 3-2 win, or a 3-2 series lead, that goes a long way.
Yeah, Eric Hunter reminding us that Yamamoto is starting tomorrow, so that's a little scary for the Blue Jays. But I would be
on short rest,
surprised to see him pitch another 9-inning game so soon. But they did have him pitching at or warming up at least yesterday, so they were thinking about putting him back in. But I mean, Yamamoto, he owned the Blue Jays, so it'll be a tough task for them tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, they are all going over video of last game against him, and the skill of these Blue Jays hitters. I wouldn't be surprised if they're laying off the curveball a lot more often and are hitting them a lot harder. But man, he sure can pitch. When he mixes in that splitter, trying to pick up the release point between his splitter and his curveball is next to impossible, I think. And to be able to change the velocities like he does, just a very talented pitcher on the mound.
Yeah. So more action coming up for the Blue Jays, and it's crazy. 3 games in 3 nights. So you could never do that in hockey. But I think just to remind everyone, me and Dustin won the championship playing 3 games in 3 nights against the Wolverines. So I mean, I usually pull the collar. Let's grab Dustin. I think I should give this to you someday. But
I have my mug.
No, not this.
Oh, you got the trophy still? Oh man, look at that beauty.
Iron champion. So think about this: gold, silver, bronze, copper, iron. But yeah, this is spring 2006. So that goes all the way back. I think I've showed this on stream maybe once for a thing, but yeah. Canucks. No rest for the weary. They're back on the road already. They're going to be playing against the St. Louis Blues on Thursday night. And then the Abbotsford Canucks as well. They're right back at it as well, I think, tomorrow, right? Against the Calgary Wranglers. So let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks first. Absolutely got hammered by the... before we finish talking about that, Eric Hunter dropping another 20 bomb. Thank you very much, Eric Hunter. And he says, Blue Jays will win. I like the confidence, Eric. You are absolutely the number one in chat right now for sure. So thank you for funding Dobby's college education. He's going to be able to get 2 degrees now with the amount of money you're donating.
Let's go.
St. Louis smacked the Canucks pretty good last time they met. Looks like we'll have to wait and see on Garland, but the Blues since that game have actually been playing pretty terribly. I see a midnight Russell Bleeding Blues. And so you're thinking, let's say even Garland's out of the lineup. Do you think the Canucks have a chance against the Blues, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think any given night you have a chance in the NHL. But obviously the Canucks are beat up, right? And what they need to do is just work very hard as a team and do it by committee and hopefully catch teams on their heels, not really taking them seriously with all these injuries. And we'll have to see. Rob Thomas questionable still on St. Louis. He's out with injury. So maybe he misses the game on what is it, on Thursday?
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, right? Maybe Hughes is good to go for that game. We don't know. We don't know the status on some of these guys and how quickly they'll be back. But man, we sure hope Garland doesn't miss much time because it's impossible to replace that guy's energy, right? So what he brings to every game, you really hate to see him out for any duration of time.
Is there any world where you could see, because obviously, like we said, Abbotsford's playing again tomorrow. Is there any world where you see maybe Kudryavtsev gets sent down if they think Quinn will be good for the trip to St. Louis, just so that Abbotsford has another piece to play against Calgary tomorrow?
Oh yeah, for sure. We might even see Vilander get sent down, right? Like who knows? We don't know how bad Mancini's injury is, so we'll have to see what moves get made by the Canucks tomorrow. We'll obviously probably won't have an update on Garland until tomorrow. Foot after the game will likely say, "Oh, he's still being evaluated." So we'll have to see what that brings. And yeah, oh boy, we could use some reinforcements. Thank God we had the depth we have on defense, but it's starting to get pretty thin.
Last hard question for you. Answer the poll question. Is a hot dog? Oh, what's a snandwich? I spelt it wrong in the poll question. Is hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, there it is.
Meat in the middle and bread on two sides. Just because it's connected doesn't mean it's not a sandwich. They used to cut Subway buns that way. That's a sandwich. Yep. Just saying. See, all you young kids out there don't know because they've just been slicing it in half. But when Russ and I were young chaps and Subway was just starting to become a thing in Canada and get popular in Canada, they used to cut a little V-shaped boat out of the top of the sub.
Beautiful.
And like put all your stuff inside there, and they'd lay the meat inside, and then they put the sauce in there, and then they put the little like wedge that they cut out and just rest it on top of your stuff. And then you'd have to try and like mangle it into your mouth somehow. Yep. But it was like the thing that Subway did. And some places you can still go and ask for them to cut it the old way. And there's occasionally a worker who knows what you're talking about.
All right, here it is for everyone who can't understand what Dustin's saying. So here's the old one. Just cut in half. Here, or no, that's the new one. This is the old one where they cut like a V-shaped thing out of it and they plop it right down on top. So yeah, there it is for anyone who wants a visual on that. Dustin, anything you want to say to chat before I let you
go? Always a pleasure to be here. I always appreciate everyone's comments. It's always tough after a loss, but this was a hard-fought game, and we need to all keep in mind about the the number of injuries that we are suffering from right now. I know it's not an excuse, but these guys did play hard tonight, considering they had a pretty intense practice today. Are trying to fill in new pieces. We have a young new guy in Reichel who looks very promising and energetic, and it's only a matter of time before he starts putting them in the net because he had some really good looks tonight. So hopefully we can keep the momentum in our system going in the right direction. And once we get some reinforcements and start getting healthy, I think we'll start seeing some really positive trajectory for this team.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan. It's all a part of the plan. We're just waiting until everyone's healthy to take everyone by surprise.
And of course, last but not least, thank you as always to Eric Hunter out there donating all the memberships and funding Dobby's college fund. Absolute beauty. And everyone else, thank you for your questions and comments. And we will see you Thursday night.
Awesome, Dustin. Thank you very much for all your work tonight, as usual. And yeah, we'll chat again on Thursday with the Canucks versus the St. Louis Blues.
Sounds good. Take care and enjoy your week.
Nothing is perfect.